At 3:17 a.m., the hospital hallway camera caught something chilling. A figure slowly walking into a patient's room. Minutes later, the heart monitor flatlined. And the strangest part, the patient had been perfectly stable just moments before. Hospitals are supposed to be places where lives are saved, but sometimes the real danger isn't illness. It's the person standing right beside the bed. St. Mary's Medical Center sat quietly on the edge of a small American city. During the day, it was busy, doctors rushing through hallways, nurses checking charts, families waiting anxiously for news. But at night, everything changed. The bright hospital noise faded into silence. Lights dimmed. Corridors became long, empty tunnels of pale white. And that's when the strange deaths began. It started with a patient named Robert Hayes, a 67-year-old recovering from routine surgery. Doctors said he was stable. His vitals were normal. He was even joking with nurses earlier that evening. But at 3:20 a.m., the monitor next to his bed suddenly screamed. By the time the night staff rushed in, Robert Hayes was gone. Doctors blamed heart failure. No one questioned it, until it happened again. Another death 2 weeks later. Another patient died during the night shift. This time, it was Emily Carter, a young woman recovering from pneumonia. Her condition had been improving all day. She was expected to go home within 48 hours. But again, around 3 a.m., her heart suddenly stopped. Nurses tried everything, but she couldn't be revived. The hospital listed it as a medical complication. Still, something felt wrong. 2 unexpected deaths, both during the night shift, both around the same time. But there still wasn't enough evidence to suspect anything sinister. So life at St. Mary's continued as usual, until the third death. The third patient was Michael Torres, a construction worker recovering from a broken leg. There was no reason for him to die. His injury wasn't life-threatening. But once again, 3:14 a.m., the heart monitor alarm. Doctors rushed in. Too late. Now hospital administrators were uneasy. 3 patients. 3 unexplained deaths. All during the night shift. All between 3 o'clock and 3:30 a.m. That's when hospital security made a decision. They checked the hallway cameras, and what they saw made their stomachs drop. The footage at 3:12 a.m., the camera showed a nurse walking slowly down the hallway. She stopped outside Michael Torres's room, looked around, then quietly stepped inside. 7 minutes later, she walked out again. Moments after that, the heart monitor alarm went off. At first, it seemed like a coincidence. But when they checked footage from the earlier deaths, the same nurse appeared again. Same hallway, same time, same pattern. Her name was Laura Mitchell, and she had worked the night shift for nearly 4 years. The suspicion Laura Mitchell was known as a calm, professional nurse. Quiet, polite, and hard-working. No complaints. No disciplinary record. Colleagues described her as kind but distant. But now detectives started looking deeper. They reviewed months of hospital records, and what they discovered was chilling. Over the past 3 years, an unusually high number of deaths had occurred during Laura Mitchell's shifts. Far more than normal. At first it looked like coincidence, but the numbers kept rising. Something wasn't right. Police quietly opened an investigation, but they needed proof, so they waited and watched. The trap 2 weeks later, the opportunity came. A patient named Daniel Brooks had been admitted after a minor heart condition. Doctors stabilized him quickly. He wasn't in danger, but investigators suspected something. They placed a hidden camera inside his room. Then they waited for the night shift. At 3:09 a.m., the hallway camera showed Laura Mitchell approaching the door. She paused, looked around, then stepped inside. Inside the room, the hidden camera recorded everything. Laura walked slowly toward the patient's bed. She checked the monitor, then reached into her pocket and pulled out a syringe. She injected something into the IV line. Seconds later, Daniel Brooks's heart monitor began to spike violently. The alarm blared. Doctors rushed in. But this time, police were already waiting. Laura Mitchell froze as officers entered the room. The syringe was still in her hand. The truth, when detectives questioned her, Laura first denied everything. But the evidence was overwhelming. Camera footage, medical reports, drug analysis. The syringe contained a powerful drug capable of stopping the heart within minutes. Eventually, Laura Mitchell confessed. Her reason shocked everyone. She claimed she was ending suffering, but investigators quickly realized the truth was darker. Many of the patients she killed weren't suffering. Some were recovering. Some were about to go home. For Laura, the control over life and death had become an obsession. She chose victims randomly, always during the quiet hours of the night, always when the hospital was nearly empty. The arrest Laura Mitchell was arrested and charged with multiple counts of murder. News of the case spread across the country. Families of former patients demanded investigations. Soon, several suspicious deaths were reopened. What doctors once believed were natural causes now looked like something far more sinister, inside the very place meant to save lives. A killer had been working quietly in the dark, and even today, one terrifying question still haunts the halls of St. Mary's Hospital. How many patients died peacefully in their beds, believing they were safe, while the night shift killer stood silently beside them?